Hi, it's Sonia. Welcome back to my art channel. Today's video kind of follows on, hopefully, from the one I made earlier in the week where, I've had a bit of a tidy up, or I've gone through my drawers again. I try and do this every few months because I think it's so easy to put stuff away, which you need to do, and then kind of like out of sight, out of mind, you forget about it, and before you know it, you've got some old gouache or acrylic inks that have not seen the light of day for, I really do want to use what I have and enjoy them as well. So that's what I've been focused on this week, and there's some segments coming up where you get to see canvases. I do a little bit of painting with I haven't got them near me, but some small jars of soft-bodied acrylics that are very old, and I was like, let's just use these and use them in abstract work. Then I think I've got another one where I sort of use pentel oil pastels, the whole gouache thing. Quickly though, I thought I'd start the video by just reviewing some other ideas and things I've been working on. This is my sort of figurative art book for drawing people, and it's kind of nearly finished. I sort of go to pages that I want to complete. And I guess the theme for this spread is going to be, I'm just gradually building it up, copying masters, experimenting with like pencil. And then I like to, again, if you've got old gouache, and it doesn't have to be good quality gouache, it can be student grade. If you've got any fun kids student grade paints, what I did was I did the pencil sketch first, and then I just went over with acrylic ink, kind of like I experimented with going quite thick and then quite thin, but I like the sort of layering and the colours, how it sort of alters a pencil sketch sometimes. So just sort of pushing my materials, seeing what they will do for me. But yeah, this is one that needs to be finished. And then I brought this in. This is, I don't know if I've shown this before, this is my sketchbook that I keep in the kitchen or in a drawer in the lounge, and I get out to use in the kitchen. And so there's some absolutely crazy pages in here that I think, this one for example, the reason it was also good to bring it out here, because after I made this video I'm going to paint over this. This was an experiment that I don't really like, so I'm going to paint over that. Probably I'll try gouache, see if I can cover it up and reuse that spread. It's turned into, so because it's in the kitchen, like inside, the materials I have are different there, and I've got pencils, we've got brush pens, I do have some paints in the drawers, but what I was wanting to talking about using, that I deliberately brought into the house, these are Prismacolor pencils, I think. Okay, this spread I worked on this week, and it was using Inktense pencils, and I treated myself to a set, I think for my own birthday, or a gifted myself a few. I don't know how old they are. Isn't it terrible when you can't really remember when? Was it a year or two? I don't know. All I know is I've been using them, but I haven't, like I'd seen other artists use them, and I was like, oh, and I had a small Inktense, the palette, and they were great. But I was like, I've struggled with these, to be honest with you, and I'm not sure, I wasn't really sure how to use them, but then I had a go at what I like in this sketch, and I think this is what I'm going to sort of carry on with, is where I wanted it to be realistic-ish, but I have it isn't botanical, it isn't completely hyper-realistic. I've sort of gone a little bit wonky. I don't mind not having every leaf in the picture. I don't mind that the leaves, you can see the shading. I like that. So it's kind of trying to make it, if it makes sense, that sort of illustrative, stylized sort of a drawing. And then what I really like with these Inktense is I've tried to exploit the fact that, so I like how using them as pencils, to be honest with you, you do get really nice pigment. They're very pigmented. So I've sort of kept that, but then in other places, and it was a bit hard actually not to overdo it, I liked the fact that they're water soluble, and I've gone with that. So this is going to be something fun to experiment more with, can I have a drawing where it's both dry, as it were, the drawing element, the using the pencils, but then also add a little bit of water soluble, make it, you know, I think I did do it in another space as well, but I can't. Yeah, this is, as I say, this is an indoor sketchbook, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to use it. It seems to be, because it's in the kitchen, lots of just kitchen sketches. I thought maybe I'd also make it abstract, like an anything goes. I mean, I don't particularly love this. Some of this I don't. I think when I was first starting out, I didn't really know how to use it. But I mean, this is Inktense, but going that whole naive, going crazy with Inktense, but actually this is mixed media. I think that I am starting to get, I like this spread, so I'm going to carry on with that. But just to say, yeah, Inktense pencils, I'm going to try and make more use of those. Maybe even bring them. Maybe I'll swap, do some more kitchen stuff and then bring them in here and then bring some other stuff into the kitchen. And just quickly as well, going back to the soft-bodied fluid acrylics, an idea for people who are short on like, you know, boards, canvases. What I like to do is keep the backs. So this was a recycled, it just fell out, Bristol pad. And, you know, I like these hard boards. These are quite fun for me to experiment as a surface with acrylics and then mixed media. And then you just keep on covering them. But, yeah, I mean, I know you can obviously, I'm sure that there's a reason, like, it's gonna buckle a bit, but if you need board, then it's interesting what we can find around. I guess people sometimes even use, like, you know, cardboard boxes, cereal boxes, cut off the card from that. That's just if, you know, like, you want to do a bit of painting or something hard, but you haven't got time to get canvas or those canvas, what are they called? Canvas boards. Okay, and then is there anything else? I think before I go on and then show you the other segments. Should I show this one? This is, again, using this old gouache I've been using up, and then going on, I think these were the Neo Colour 2s. And I also like to keep a small little box of I've got a box of little tiny odds and ends as well. Really tiny ones. What I like about these boxes is, okay, so I love Prismacolor for drawing. I've just shown you my figurative sketchbook. And they're great, you know, when they're a decent size for portraits, drawing people. When I get down to these stubby bits, I do know about pencil extenders. So I do have, I think, a pencil extender. But I also sometimes think it's quite fun to just use, when they're like this, to use them in my abstract, let me just show you, abstract sketchbooks, and then hold them in a different way, practice holding, you know, pencils, like what happens like when you hold it, it's sort of you're pressing, like different pressure, being harsh. And this is my right hand, my non-dominant hand. So just experimenting. So I don't know why it went like, because you can still use them till they get down to nothing. I had this idea of also keeping them, when they're little baby ones, in a jar, because I thought they'd make quite a nice, then, you know, like a nice jar as a bit of a decoration as well. Or indoors, all the little tiny bits. I don't know if anyone else did this. I remember at school there was a phase, oh my gosh, when I was at primary school, so this is like when we were sort of 8, 9, and we used to keep, this just shows how extremely at times, you know how like when you were very young, time seems to be, like, I remember we all kept the pencil shavings, I don't know why, and then we'd keep the coloured leads as well in our desks. Like there was, and then people kept, do you remember cartridges? People kept the little balls out of ink cartridges. I don't know if children still collect odd bits and bobs. My kids, it was more, I think, those rubbers, erasers they're called here. You have to be careful calling them. But anyway, erasers, those Japanese style erasers the boys wanted to collect. And then, what was the other thing they were all collecting? Oh, Pokemon cards. But yeah, I don't know if people, maybe I was just we were just a bit strange. I'm going to stop now and let's move on to the other segments that are coming up. There's just 2 more and then that's going to be it for this video. So I hope there's some ideas in here, and yeah, thanks. I just want to show you around what I've been up to in terms of my idea for finding materials in drawers and using up some of the ones that you're like hanging on to. Or maybe a bit old and getting, let's be honest, they get a bit gunky. So, for example, I found these, oh my gosh, I have to get away and look at it myself. Soft body acrylics that I got a good few years ago. I think they were on sale and I wanted to try them. So they came in a set of, I don't know, what was it, 10? And I did use them back then. This is like, I used to work out of the bedroom and kitchen. And I used them in sketchbooks, which I didn't love because the pages stick together because they're like acrylic. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll use them on canvas as well. I mean, I like them, don't get me wrong, but they've just been sitting in a drawer. And so what I've done is I've got them out and I found some old canvases that I'd already sort of painted over. And I'm just using them for kind of abstract work. Before I use them, I'll try and find my sketchbooks and show. I use them for like loose still lifes. But for me at the moment, let me just stop it. Yeah, I just want to use them. This purple was really gunky. I did add a little bit of water because I was like, maybe it's just drying out. It didn't really seem that soft-bodied. But I thought I can use that as a background. And then I had this canvas I paint over again and again. And in its current sort of reincarnation, I thought I kind of liked this. I'm kind of leaving this as it is, but I'll probably add to it. I've got little bits of, just want to see how, it's also a way of testing this paint again. See how it dries or for sort of more sort of final pieces. And then coming over, oh my gosh, it's gonna be jerky. I had this under here it started off as a really traditional acrylic landscape that I liked. And then I painted over it and then it was a bit pinky and I didn't like it. And then I was like, I'm gonna paint over it again. And now in its current form, it started off really black. And I was like, let's use this paint to, I kind of like the sheen of acrylics on a canvas, to be honest with you. So it's going to become a playful sort of acrylic canvas. And I'm going to use these, I'm going to make an effort to use these small tubs of soft-bodied acrylic up. Because I feel, yeah, I've had them for years. And then I can make some space in my drawers and I can think about in the future, like, what other paints do I want to, maybe I would go back to them, but they are quite pricey for acrylics, to be honest with you. Is what I remember when I was looking them up again. But I do like their effect, and I'm trying to like play around with layering. I like having this white and this sort of very rough brush work. And what happens if I layer sort of the colours on top of one another. So that's that one. And I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, so basically that's my idea. And then, oh yeah, on my desk as well. Quickly, should I just take you? It's a mess. I talked about jelly gouache. And I think some people also were saying they don't love jelly gouache, which I totally understand because personally I wouldn't use it myself. I see a lot of artists use it beautifully, but for myself I think I always prefer the sort of artist sort of Winsor & Newton designer gouache and Holbein. However, this stuff is great for backgrounds, abstracts. I kind of like this metallic. I don't know, this is just quite, kind of like it on this sort of paper. And then it can go in a sketchbook, I can draw on top of it. It's a good way of, if you've got bits of paper that you want to use up, because you can put it on thickly. If you want to use this stuff up, because it's about to, you know, it's getting old, maybe use it for, I would say, there's another one here. Okay, this is a talking about using stuff up. This was some hard pastel, and I was experimenting with smearing it to get a background. I did have to fix it with some spray, and then I've added the jelly gouache on top, and then I can keep playing around with this. This is just fun, nice, some nice easy sort of ideas if you know you're in the mood to look at old materials again. See if you want to keep them. Maybe they're not to your taste anymore and you want to donate them to charity or give them away. Or maybe you actually like, oh, I didn't like them, but now I really love them. So anyway, have fun with what you've got, I guess. Okay, in this segment, I just wanted to quickly show how I'm like to use Pentel oil pastels. I put these away and then I get them back out again. I like these because they're readily available. I feel like lots of us have them. They're, you know, quite affordable. Kids use them. And I like the fact that I use them in abstract sketchbooks because you do get some nice, for example, here. I feel like I can lay down nice colours, put colours against each other. You get quite a good range. You can also layer them. I've been practicing with put that sort of light pastel pink over the purple. And yes, they're very fun. I like to use them in loose work. If anyone's interested, I could do a video on using these particular pastels for also loose floral drawings, mixed media. You can use them in landscapes as well. But yeah, at the moment I'm experimenting in this book, just to give you a quick flick, with, I'm trying to avoid collage, as I said, because of it getting thick. But just some days I like to leave them sort of gouache studies. But on top, you can also then play around with using crayons. Neocolour 2 would work well. But yeah, as I say, in case anybody's got some of these hidden away in a drawer and wants to get them out again, I quite like these also because I feel, unless you're very fussy, they don't smudge so much, whereas if you use a very soft oil pastel, it can be a bit messy. These aren't, perhaps because they're student quality, they're not too messy, which is quite of a good thing. But you do get the colour, to lay down some colour immediately. Okay, that's the end of this little segment. I'm just coming on to end this video to say I found the sketchbook where I had been experimenting, I'm pretty sure, with the soft bodied acrylics, and actually the pages don't appear to have like, I'm sure this, maybe I'm wrong, I'm sure this is soft body acrylic, and they don't appear to have stuck together, to be fair. There's definitely a page in here. Where is it? Which I know for sure. Yeah, they don't. So I've not had to put paper down to separate them. Yeah, this is you just got a slight sheen. I can actually see why they are really nice paints. I do like them. I just, yeah, as I say, my set are quite old, so I just feel maybe let's make sure I, use them up. And then actually, after having said I wouldn't get them again, I probably would be tempted if I ever saw them on offer. But yeah, so that was just interesting, just to show you some, because obviously in the earlier segment it was kind of like abstracts, but I have used them in the past for, yeah, this is my loose still life. And I think they'd also be quite good for working on paper. And yeah, I know, obviously they are very popular for a reason. Okay, then just one more thing before I say thank you for watching and goodbye. I did just, while I was sort of here, go over, this is the page that I've painted over, and I've used some metallic gouache. And yeah, I'm going to let this dry, and then my idea is I now have another, what I could do, I might try some a loose oil pastel drawing. I think it feels like it will be a loose drawing here, but I've got, I've covered up It was just, I like maximalist, but that was just too crazy for me. So I've covered it up, and you've still got like the bits coming through. It may be actually when this is dry, I might have to go over with another layer, or maybe layer like a whiter colour down and see, or go across. Yeah, there's all sorts I can do with that, and just keep going with it. Okay, so thank you for watching as always. I hope there's some little ideas here, or you're might be motivated, and hopefully you're drawing with me is the best thing. I do think it's great when I hear people are making art to videos, because then there's that whole, you know, you're creating, you're doing something for yourself, and that's what I love to hear. Okay, bye. I will see you next time. Thank you.